Why you don't trust yourself anymore. You second-guess yourself constantly. Even the smallest decisions feel like a trap. You ask others for their opinion, even when you already know the answer. You stall, you spiral, you stay stuck. But here's what no one tells you. Self-doubt isn't a flaw, it's a symptom. It's what happens after years of overriding your own signals. The collapse of self-trust doesn't happen in one moment. It happens slowly, silently. When you say yes when your body screams no, when you hide your needs to keep the peace, when you gaslight your own gut because someone told you they knew better, it starts to rewire your internal compass. You stop trusting your instinct, you start outsourcing your reality, and eventually, you no longer feel safe inside your own decisions. You think you have a decision-making problem, but really you have a disconnection problem. You've trained yourself to perform the right answers instead of asking what's true for you, and every time you override that truth even a little, the gap grows wider. Until you don't just doubt yourself, you forget what self-trust even feels like. You're not born doubting yourself. That was learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. But first, you need to understand this. Self-trust isn't a feeling. It's a relationship. It's built like any other relationship through consistency, honesty, and presence. And right now, you're probably ghosting yourself. Let's go deeper. Why your brain stops trusting you when you keep abandoning your inner signals, how subtle betrayals stack into chronic self-doubt, and how to begin rebuilding the connection even if it's been lost for years. But first, if this is hitting home, like the video and subscribe, and let's rebuild your internal foundation together. Every time you override your inner no, every time you say it's not a big deal when it is, every time you numb out instead of checking in, your brain takes notes. It learns, my signals aren't safe to follow. My emotions don't matter here. The real me is inconvenient. This is how self-abandonment becomes self-programming. Over time, your internal system stops alerting you, because it no longer expects you to listen. Here's the scary part. Eventually, you don't even notice you're ignoring yourself. You're so used to performing what others need, or avoiding what might cause conflict, that you forget you even have a voice in the room. You become excellent at doing the right thing, being the easy one, keeping things smooth, but inside, there's this dull ache, because you know you've slowly disappeared. We don't talk about this enough. Self-betrayal is a form of trauma. Not the dramatic kind, but the slow, repeated kind that erodes your identity. It tells your nervous system, we're not safe to be real. We can't trust our feelings. Someone else always knows better. So you stop trying. You stop checking. And you learn to freeze even when nothing's actually wrong. Let's be brutally honest. Many people don't lose self-trust because they failed. They lose it because they got really good at hiding themselves to keep others comfortable. You shrink to avoid judgment. You smile to avoid conflict. You stay silent to keep others comfortable. But every time you do, you teach yourself that your truth is dangerous. That's the real damage. So how do you rebuild trust with yourself after a lifetime of being the person everyone needed you to be? You don't wait until you feel confident to act. You build confidence by proving over time that your actions have your back. Self-trust grows when your inner world and outer behavior begin to match again. This means showing up for yourself in small ways, saying no when it's uncomfortable, telling the truth when it would be easier to perform, resting before you burn out. Every small alignment sends a message to your nervous system. I'm listening now. You don't rebuild trust through dramatic overnight change. You do it by not disappearing on yourself during the quiet moments. Start simple. When you're tired, rest. When you feel something, name it. When something feels wrong, don't explain it away. You don't need permission to feel what you feel. You just need practice believing it matters. One of the biggest lies is that self-trust comes after clarity. It doesn't. Clarity often comes after movement. The most powerful people aren't the ones who are certain. They're the ones who move even while unsure, because they trust that no matter what happens, they'll meet themselves with honesty and care. That's what makes them unshakable. Just like any relationship, self-trust is built in moments. When you notice your needs before they collapse into crisis. When you speak your truth without dressing it up. When you stop outsourcing decisions to people who don't live your life, this is presence, and presence is the soil where trust grows. You can't control every thought, you can't eliminate every doubt, but you can change how you respond to those doubts, and that's where self-trust is built. Not in perfection, but in self-consistency. Ask yourself, when I hesitate, do I shame myself or stay curious? When I fall short, do I punish myself or learn? When I feel something, do I shut it down or make space for it? Your answers shape your identity more than any achievement ever could. Start here, micro check-ins. Take 60 seconds, 3 times a day. Ask, what do I need right now? And then, actually respond to it. Keep one small promise daily. Doesn't matter how minor, just something you said you'd do, and followed through. It's not about productivity, it's about proof. You're proving to your system, I'm someone who shows up. You've spent years tuning into expectations, noise, advice, approval. Now your power lies in tuning all that down, so you can finally hear the voice that was always there. The voice that says, this matters. The voice that says, this isn't right for me. The voice that says, let's go anyway. That's your voice. It doesn't need to be loud. It just needs to be trusted. When you don't trust yourself, you become manipulable. You chase certainty in people, programs, even productivity systems. But when you trust yourself, you become uncapturable. You're no longer desperate for the right path. You stop asking everyone else what you should do. You start walking in alignment, even before you see the results. That's power, that's peace, that's presence. If this hits something real, drop a comment. I'm rebuilding trust with myself, one decision at a time. Like the video, and subscribe if you're done outsourcing your life, and ready to trust your own voice again. This content is for educational and motivational purposes only. It is not professional mental health advice. Always seek qualified guidance for therapeutic support or medical concerns.